At ease. What's going on, brothers? What's going on, sisters? It's been live. I've been live for a minute, man. So let me know if y'all can hear me out there, brothers. What's going on, brother Robert? Hey, can y'all hear me out there good, man? Perfect. Appreciate that, OYS. So, man, let's talk about Will, man. Let's talk about Will. First off, let me pause, man, because it's been a hot minute since I've done a God talk, right? And to be honest, there's a reason why I cut back on the God talk, or why I rechanneled the God talk, right? First off, is because I just don't think a lot of people are ready for certain type topics. Certain type topics, man, are meant to be discussed in closed circles sometimes, right? Because I think for some conversations to take place, a certain mindset has to be already had, right? So I felt like a lot of what I was talking about was kind of it just wasn't a good space for it. On top of that, YouTube frowned on God talk. For some reason, every time I talked about God talk, if I'm talking about what really took place, what place with the resurrection, if I'm talking about finding your higher self, for some reason, YouTube will take some of those videos and either strike them or say they're not suit, or in some cases delete them. You know what I'm saying? So that's another reason why I cut it out. And what I really did with God talk, brothers, is just redirected it, right? Redirected it to what we now call the power circle, man, where men are a part of conversations on what we're going to be having here for the next 30 minutes, 45 minutes, hour, because I'm not trying to go all night, brothers. But this is the kind of conversation we're having. And I can tell as soon as I posted it, the video earlier, as soon as I posted something on Instagram, I knew there were going to be some people that said, oh, no. Like I would have been surprised if more than 20% of the brothers would say, hey, you know what? I understand. I was fully unaware that most brothers wouldn't comprehend what I was saying. And that's why we have to have this God talk here tonight, brothers. Because like I always say, what I want for myself, I want for my brothers. He said, don't blame YouTube. Oh, I feel you. But yeah. So yeah, man, that's what's been going on. Now we can all come to agreement, man. We can all say that mankind as a whole, just the state of men between 20 and 50 years old. You brothers, you have to say that the state we're in is pretty much organized chaos. You know what I'm saying? Like in some mental capacities, we're far ahead of our fathers and grandfathers. But when it comes to a lot of just raw masculinity, brother, we've dropped the ball on a lot of it. We have to admit that, man. A lot of our kids are moving out of order. A lot of our women are moving out of order. And the thing I always say is this, man. I say, if something is going wrong, like we can't call ourselves men and point the finger at someone else or point the finger at somebody else. In other words, pull a like Adam did in the garden saying, hey, you know what? It's this woman you sent me. Like she's jacked up. Brothers, we can't call ourselves men and move like that. Like y'all do know that, right? Y'all do know that if we're calling ourselves men, that means we're quarterbacking this whole thing. When it's good, it's our fault. When everything is going to hell, it's our fault. Like at some point, we have to understand that. But the thing is, once we understand that, brothers, as a collective, everything will change. Because all the finger pointing and name, a lot of that stuff will go away because it's like, you know what? It's this way because I created it. Right? And I was looking at some of the comments earlier, man. On my video earlier, and I didn't get a chance to look at them, man, to respond back. And people will say, people saying things like, "Hey, so I disagree," making fun of Will. Will shouldn't have did it. He was a simp. This is Soul's first bad take. I saw a lot of those. Like Soul missed this one. Soul missed one. Soul did not miss this one, brothers. Soul was fully aware of the reaction he would get from this. I was fully aware when I woke up this morning, before I even made the first video, that this was going to be a teaching moment. This is going to open the eyes of many brothers. This is going to explain to you why a lot of things are the way they are. And I'm telling you, brothers, normally I would have this conversation in a very small circle of men. But you know, with Will doing what he did, today was the day, guys. Like, we have to have this as a collective. Everybody needs to hear this, man, because once you understand what Will is going through, you'll understand why this world is moving like it is, brothers. And we ain't gonna be here long. We might be here 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I'm not finna sit here and drown this out. I'm about to get on it and get off of it, man. You know what I'm saying? What up, Dre? See you, brother. So yeah, man, you know, the thing that stood out to me, and you know, when I first started thinking about this, when I first looked at the wheel thing situation, and some other situations just like it, the first thing that stood out to me is I said, you know what, like I'm looking at this different than most men. I said, the way I'm looking at this, you know, there are very few men that are looking at what's taking place, man, because you get confused with all the bells and whistles, man. And I came to the conclusion, brothers, that most men are looking at this from a mortal mindset, when I'm looking at this as a God, brothers. Let's talk about it.
First of all, the greatest thing on the planet is the knowledge of self, and basically the knowledge of the universe. For the mere fact that you are even interested in this, or remotely interested in this at this particular time when shit is going on crazy out here, it means that you are the special evolved beings. Stop thinking like a human. You got to start thinking as a God. G-O-D, generator, operator, and destroyer. Is it not written in your law that ye are God? John chapter 10, verse 34, 35. But what is the whole of is that the actual gods do not realize they're God.
Now, the first thing y'all have to understand, man, the first thing y'all have to understand is that as men, we're looking at this wrong. You know, like I said a second ago, we're all looking at this through mortal minds. And you know how I know that? And when I say mortal minds, we're looking at this situation outside of our God selves. And this is how I know. This is how I know when a man is looking at this situation, in any situation, you know, through his lower vibrating eyes, instead of through his God perception of things, right? You'll hear words like alpha. You'll hear words like beta. These are low vibrational words, brothers. You hear words like red pill, blue pill, purple pill. You hear words like simp. I'm telling you, brothers, when men use these terms, they're coming from a place of, they're coming from an element outside of their true self, because they're operating in a sense of full polarity instead of one, or half polarity. In other words, they're choosing a side instead of embracing the entire swinging of the pendulum. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand that, brothers, that when a man is using those terms, when a man looks at a situation like Will and says he punches Will, and the first thing goes to his mind is he's acting beta. Brother, he's looking at life through the entirely wrong lenses, man. Entirely wrong lenses. And the thing is this, I used to look at this situation like most men. I'll say this, a number of years ago, I don't know how many years ago, a number of years ago, I would have looked at this situation and I'm sure I would have said something like, you know, Will is acting real beta. Will is acting real, you know, all this stuff. And to be honest, if I was to think on that level now, I'm sure I would put him in some bucket. I'm sure I would. I probably would say, you know what, Will is beta. Will should have left her a long time ago. You know, he's doing that. I'm sure I would have said that. But brothers, my brain doesn't even do that anymore. My mind doesn't even look at that. So when I get online and I see that, I'm like, whoa, like your brain still does that, man. Like in 2022, with all that's going on, you still want to conduct yourself like a mortal man? And I'm telling you, man, very few men will come out of that. Very few men will come out of that. Very few men know that place exists, brothers. Very few men know that place exists. So like I was saying, man, to understand this whole, Will Smith thing, you have to see it from the lens of your higher self, man. Or you can get lost in the sauce and all this nonsense, brothers. You can get lost in the sauce. This is what you got to understand, man, because I don't want to take this long, brothers. You have to understand that, when I say look at this from our God self, you have to understand this. Most people have no clue what God is. Most people have no clue what God is. But we have to start there. But before we get to what Will is going through, brothers, you have to understand how to see this thing first. You have to understand how to see this first. And I can tell you right there, most men don't understand what God is, brothers. That's the first part. And the reason I know this is because I made a tweet the other day. And I'm paraphrasing. Look at my phone. I made a tweet the other day. And this is what I said, man. And this is how I knew the majority of men were still in that low vibrational place. It surprised me. I said this, brothers. Follow your boy on Twitter, right? Immortal Minds. I said this. I said, many will die and be surprised to discover that Martin Luther and Hitler are in the same space. That Kirk Franklin and Luther Campbell will both eat from the same table. That George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin are one. This is unconditional love and the only source that I submit to. A lot of brothers felt some kind of way. Like, brother, you telling me that Martin Luther and Hitler in the same place? Like that doesn't make sense to the common man's mind. But you have to understand that when you think anything opposite, think about what you're really saying. Think about what you're really saying. Think about when you define God to yourself and what God is. But then when you think about the end result, you have everybody in two separate places. You really have to narrow down to what you're saying, brothers, what you're really thinking, man, what you're really saying to yourself. And the thing is, if you don't understand that, if you don't understand that whole oneness, if you don't understand that what the all is, and that there is nothing outside of us, outside of that, brothers, I'm telling you, it's going to be a very hard pill for you to swallow what I'm talking about, man. It's going to be a very hard pill to describe what I'm talking about, man. Now, everybody is focused on the actual events, man. And that's where you really get lost in this whole thing. You get to focusing on the events and you'll get lost. And to be honest, I normally don't talk about this kind of stuff. You never hear me talking about some celebrity news. You know what I'm saying? With all the garbage going on, you never hear me make reaction videos about what somebody did. That's not my thing. There are a few brothers that do that, and I love to watch them. And, I'm entertained by it, but that's just not my thing. I'm just not concerned in that type content. But this right here, there was an underlying event taking place, brothers, that a lot of y'all need to be aware of, man. That will open a lot of brothers' eyes. And I see a lot of comments that was pent up emotions. There was brother, it was a lot of that stuff. But still, you got to get down to the nuts and bolts of what was taking place. So let's look at the events. Everybody's focused on the events. Let's look at the events. Appreciate that super chat, brother. Alex Tenzo says, out of Houston, H-Town. I've been watching you for a while. Cyrogenics in a semi-truck. You changed my life for the better. Thank you for your wisdom knowledge, man. I appreciate that, brother, man. I appreciate that super chat. But let's look at the events for a minute, brothers. Let's look at the events. Will should be embarrassed. If we want to think on a lower vibrational level, you know what I'm saying? If you want me to go back to my old self and think, Will should be embarrassed. And this is why I say Will should be embarrassed. Will Smith is known for conducting himself as an upstanding man. I mean, he draws between the lines. He's not breaking any laws. Like he represents mankind very well. You know what I'm saying? But all of a sudden, man, all this stuff came out. all this information about how him and his wife move, and I really don't know the full details. I know I think they move kind of I don't want to say swinger-ish, but I think they move kind of different. Maybe open relationship. I don't know. I know they move a little different, right? So whatever they had going on, whether they agreed to have partners outside, right? Or whether they were going through like a little mini separation and they went together, and she was doing her thing and he was doing whatever they had going on, they were both in agreement, or they both understood the assignment, like y'all say, right? They understood the assignment. It was somebody else that let all that information out. It was somebody else that gave y'all the tea, like y'all say, right? Ain't that what y'all like, the tea? So Will should be embarrassed. He's like, man, I've been this upstanding man. I've been making solid movies. I've been just a good guy. And now all of a sudden, man, people can see inside. People can see what's really taking place inside of me. People can really see the reflection of what's really taking place inside of my mind. And he didn't like that. He shouldn't have. His wife is sleeping with a younger man, a younger little megastar, right? He's a meme on everybody's channel. You got Will crying. You got Will looking sad. Everybody's making fun of Will. And all of a sudden, here Will comes, on the biggest stage, the Oscars, one of the biggest stage on television, right? And now Chris Rock, after all this, as if a man hasn't gone through enough the last 6 months or a year. You know what I'm saying? As if he hadn't been on television, being embarrassed by his wife, having to hear what took place, knowing that some other, and everybody knowing it. As if he hadn't gone through all of that, brother Chris Rock said, you know what? I'm going to kick a man while he's down. You know what I'm saying? Like Will was simply an easy target, brothers. You have to understand that, man. And this is a lot of reason why I'm glad Will did what he did, man. You have to understand, in that building, I don't know how big it is, 3,000, 4,000, 10,000 people? And people be wearing crazy outfits, clear suits and big boots and all this stuff. And you telling me out of all these people, this brother decided to pick on the brother that was already down on the grand stage? Has anybody thought about that? Before we go forward saying Will done walked up there and smacked somebody, has anybody considered that? Because you got to understand this, man. This is what I do. This is what I do. And we're going to get to the meat and potatoes of this in a second, brothers. This is what I do. When I see brothers going through stuff in the media, when I see brothers going through divorces, when I see brothers going through, their wife is cheating on them, when I see brothers going through all this superstar file bankruptcy, when I see all these things, I don't look at the detail. I don't really care about the smoke that's surrounding it. What I focus on is what that brother's mindset is. What I focus on is what is he going through internally? I don't know why he think that, but that's just the way I see things, man. When I see men going through trauma, that's how I look at it. Well, a lot of, I'm gonna say this, brothers. A lot of men, a lot of people, let me not say men, a lot of people love seeing brothers go through something hard. It don't sound like the truth, but on God, misery loves company. When you hear somebody, think about this. When you hear somebody getting a divorce, it's more like a superstar. Like I don't know who got divorced in the last few what's her names. Brothers crave that. Brothers get online and people get online and swarm to that information. Like they're really celebrating that. Like that's where we are as a people. We're really celebrating. We might say and all this stuff, brother, but we love misery. That's what's wrong with our people right now, man. We love misery. That's why we can't come out of this whole situation we're in as a collective. We love misery. It's a crazy thing, man. It's a crazy thing, brothers. It's a crazy thing. So everybody's looking at Will now and saying, you know what? Okay, the brother's lost his mind, right? I'm telling you, Chris Rock was just the what I say, the needle that broke the camel's back, or the hay straw, whatever it is. Y'all know what I'm saying? Chris Rock was just that. Now I heard that they had some beef or something. I saw an article where they might have had some beefs a couple years ago about a similar type situation where he kind of made a comment at a show about Jada. You know, that could have had something to do with it. I don't think it really did, man. I think it had. You know, Chris Rock was just a representative of every man. Chris Rock could have just a representative of every man. And some brother commented earlier. Some brother commented earlier and said, "Well, he chose the smallest man." They said, I don't know if it was on my IG. They said if 50 Cent would have been presenting, he wouldn't have did that. I said, you know what? Possibly. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're wrong. I said, but at the same time, if 50 Cent was married to Jada, the joke wouldn't have even been said. And that takes us back to square one, brothers. I'm gonna say that again for people in the back, because y'all really need to understand that. The brother said if 50 Cent was the presenter, that Will Smith wouldn't have had the gonads to get up there and smack him. I can't say whether he would or not. At the same time, if a brother like 50 was with Jada Smith, Chris Rock would have said nothing. Chris Rock would have said nothing. Why is that, man? Because Will is a target, man. Will is a target. And brothers love targets. Brothers love targets. How do you know that, Soul? How do I know brothers love targets? I'm going to tell you how I know, brothers. And it all surrounds this word simp. When I hear a man use it, and trust me, let me pause for a second. I'm not shooting at any content creator, none of that stuff, because I know a lot of men use that word. I'm not shooting nobody. I'm talking strictly about soul. Why I never use that word is because I understand really what it is. I understand that when the word simp is used now, it's due to it's a selective choosing type thing, brothers. And I brought this to awareness just I don't know when I made a video. It might have been a few months ago. When I talked about Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is exhibit A when it comes to why men use the word simp. Russell Wilson is exhibit A. And I brought it up in the video. Didn't nobody give me no feedback. Because there was none. There was none. I said, look at Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson went and married a Sierra. And y'all was saying, oh, well, Sierra been with Joe Blow and 50 and Bow Wow and da-da-da-da-da. Y'all did the whole list. Sierra got a child and da-da-da-da-da. Went through this whole list. Russell's a simp. Every video on my whole feed. Before I deleted all my red pill channels, every feed, Russell's a simp. And I'm like, man, brothers got selective choosing or whatever you want to call it, right? And the example I use, I said because look at Nipsey Hussle. I said Nipsey Hussle then when pretty much married Lauren London. Lauren London had been with a few industry brothers. She done been with Wayne. She done been with a few other brothers that I don't know. She has a baby by a rap brother. And here Nipsey is, booing her up. Pictures, photos. She's wife. She's wifey. She's benefiting from his death. She's wifey. I didn't hear no smoke about Nipsey. I've never seen one video that said Nipsey Hussle was a simp. One video. Are their situations not the same? I've never seen one video that said Nipsey Hussle is a simp. Not one. Why is that? Why is that, brothers? We're going to talk about that. Why is that? Same thing with Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane married Keisha Kior. I think is her real name. Keisha was I think it's safe to say she was a video vixen. You know what I'm saying? I think she had some dealings with what's the boy name look like? MC Hammer. She had some dealings with Yo Gotti, right? He pretty much came out and said, "Hey, bro, while you was locked up, like I was smashing that." She has a few children, by some other guys. And Gucci came with the monster ring on TV, Atlanta Hawks game. He chinchilla. They glammed up in front of the whole world. He put a ring on a finger. I haven't heard not one single brother. I haven't seen one caption. I haven't seen one YouTube thumbnail that says Gucci Man is a simp. Why is that, brothers? Because brothers are selective. Because using the word simp, to me, this is me personally, no shots to nobody else, using the word simp lets me know that brother has a bully mentality. It's a bully mentality. Because if you're going to start naming simps, brother, you're going to be naming all year. It's selective. Ain't nobody calling nobody a simp that they know going to get up and will smack the snot out of them. Simple as that. That's why ain't nobody made a video about Nipsey. That's why nobody made a simp video about Gucci. Because they know nobody will say that in their face. But when somebody comes up like a Russell, and I said this in the video, brother, go back and check it. And it goes with what I'm saying right now. I said the day that Russell Wilson smacked somebody, I said is the day the last person talks about him. That's the last day. That's how you can suppress the studio gangsters. It's easy for me to get on this mic. You know what I'm saying? And say what another man is doing, and I don't want to get caught up in this whole simp stuff, but I wanted to pause right here. Because the next time you see somebody is a simp on Instagram or YouTube, look at what category they fall in and look at other brothers that fall in that same category. And ask yourself, like, why ain't they calling Joe Blow a simp like somebody else? It's selective, man. It's a bully tactic. It's low vibrational. It's still putting in a man at a category instead of looking at the and I don't want to go down that road because we'll be a whole nother spell of time. We can even look at Kanye's situation. And I could be wrong. Brothers may be calling Kanye a simp, but I've never heard nobody say Kanye's a simp. Kanye is going through some stuff right now. But you know what? Like I said a second ago, you can look at the Pete dude and Cardi, the kids and all this stuff that he's saying, my kids are doing this. He got him and this Pete dude are beefing. I don't even look at that, man. I see it, but it's a smoke screen to me. I'm focused on that man's journey. I'm focused on that man's journey. You know what I'm saying? I'm wondering where he's vibrating on the inside. That's why I was so impressed by the documentary about Kanye. I saw how he grew up. I saw what he went through. And the whole time, what I was focused on is what's going on the inside of the brother. How's he going to come out of this thing energetically? How is he going to tap into his God? You know what I'm saying? When I look at brothers, if I look at a brother's situation and I'm thinking about, and I'm talking about anything outside of how that brother's thinking, how his mind is working, I'm doing too much. That means I'm too much invested in what another man is doing. If I have the energy to call a man a simp, a alpha, a beta, a lame, and all these other words, that means I'm too invested in this man's decisions. I'm too invested. I ain't too invested, man. Why should I care what I've said this a million times, brothers? I've said this a million times. One man's 95% is another man's 5%, is another man's 1%. So when I'm talking about a 5% woman or 1% woman, there's no set model on what that looks like. Oh, it's a woman that cooks and cleans. It's a woman that bakes bread on Thursdays. It's a woman that puts the kids to sleep at 9:30. It's a woman that, one man's 5% is another man's 5%. Let's go back to Kanye. When Kanye got with Kim, day one, everybody thought the same thing. Everybody was like Kim, like she just came off the press with the sex tape. And this who you wife up? You know what I'm saying? Everybody thought that. But that's not a real man's business on why he does that. It's really not. It's really not. And to get consumed in it's really not a good look. It's really not a good look, brothers. Like we're putting too much energy. When it comes to that, we're putting too much energy in another man's decisions, man. That's just not a good look, man. It's just not a good look, brothers. We discover your source said Will Smith's action could have gotten him arrested. Very well could have. Assault is assault. Facts. That's why I wouldn't suggest the man taking notes from what he did, from what Will did. Consequences. Brother, you tell no lies. You tell no lies. Appreciate that super chat too, brother. You tell no lies. And I said this earlier. This man was moving reckless. I can identify with that recklessness, though, man. I can identify in it, and I understood what Will was going through, brother, because I look at the man's journey. Brother, you speak nothing but facts, so we're gonna get on that, man. So let's talk about this. Let's dive in and talk about Will, man. Like what are we witnessing? Like again, once we get rid of all the the lower vibrational thoughts, once we get past the thoughts of Alcina used to talk to Jada, and once we get past the fact that what all they have going through, let's look at what's going on, brothers. Let's stay real about what's going on, And I saw the brother put the comment in there about the whole simp thing, and I don't want to read it all. But let's go back to that real quick, brothers. Let's go back to that. Let's say that Will was simping. Let's say that Will was simping, right? So you telling me we're going to make a decision and say this man is simping because he's sitting with his wife. He's sitting with his wife at a large event. That's still his wife. Regardless of what took place, that's still his wife. He was still showing up as Will Smith. She was still showing up as his wife, Jada. That's how they entered the room, right? You telling me because a man called his wife out, and I've heard some things like she had out. I don't know what's going on with all that. That could have triggered even more. But a man calls your wife out, from the top row, right? He's done it before, and all this stuff you have going on in life. Y'all still really want to call him a simp for that? I mean, let's just be honest. Let's pause right there and be honest on that, man. Because I know a lot of brothers that I know personally that are married, and yeah, it was a comedy show. Yeah, Chris Rock is a comedian. Yeah, Will should have took it. True. But again, it goes back to kicking a man down. It goes back to why he chose him, man. But let me ask y'all this: are y'all telling me that I'm not making an excuse. Y'all telling me that let's say you have a wife. Let's go back. Let's say you have a daughter, right? You have a daughter that's out on a date. She's at the Grammy. She's at the Oscar. She's with a guy. Your wannabe future son-in-law or your son-in-law, right? And somebody's all they've gone through, and now somebody's throwing some final jabs when a man is on his back. Are you telling me you wouldn't want your daughter's man to go smack the snot out of somebody? Are you telling me that? Are you telling me that we're raising our sons to just be the punching bags of life? And I'm not just strictly talking about the slap. I'm talking about the whole shebang. I'm talking about the memes. I'm talking about are you telling me we're raising our young men to move like that? Because that's what I'm hearing, brothers. So we gotta really ask ourselves, man, why we do? Should Will have done it? Let me pause here and say this. Do I wish Will would have went up there and smacked him? Do I wish all that stuff would? No, I don't support violence. I should have said that from the start. I don't support violence. I don't support going and smacking another man. I don't support walking on any stage. I don't support none of that stuff. But I understand why he did it, man. I understand why he did it, brothers. So what we're witnessing, brothers, and Will, because I got to get off here in a minute. What we're really experiencing, what we're witnessing is Will go through his awakening. And this is why I say this, brothers, because I've seen other brothers do this over time. I've seen people I know personally do it. I've gone through it. I've seen celebrities do it. Now, it may look different. It may not be in the form of a man walking up on stage and smacking somebody. But I've seen people get into it with reporters. I've seen people get into it with their comrades. Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is one of my favorite people on the planet, man. Because I saw him go through it. I saw Jim Carrey go through this worldly mind state and go to this point where he accessed that part he was supposed to go through. He went through that awakening. Terrence Howard went through it. Of course, his mind works a little different. But when this brother got on the red carpet talking about the planets and talking about solar, talking about this stuff, and people were like, he's losing his mind. That brother wasn't losing his mind. That was his way of finding that place I'm getting ready to talk about, man. That was about him tapping into his fullness. Let me say that, brothers. But it's who that's Sirach Jeb says, how can you be a wife? I mean, how can you be a simp with your wife? You know, I'll say this. I'll be honest. I think a man can be a simp with his wife. I think a man can be a simp with his wife. You know, a brother commented on I wonder if I can find that comment. A brother commented on a video a few weeks ago, a week or so ago, and I was talking about, what was I talking about in that video? Something about men maybe not putting women first, or something about men being zero tolerance, something like that, right? And the brother said this, right? The brother said, he said, "Soul," and I'm paraphrasing like hell. He said, "Soul, I've been following your channel, man, since the red pill days, since the old channel. I've been following you since then, brothers." He said, "Brother," he said, and I talked about this I talked about this in the video. I said, when you see a brother holding this, I said, when you see a brother walking with his purse, I use an example. I said, a brother was walking with his wife's purse while his wife was walking beside him, healthy as I don't know what, young, vibrant. And he's just walking in misery, not wanting to do it. And she's just walking around window shopping. That's a simp. That's a simp. I don't care who does it. I'm not saying a man shouldn't, and the brother said, you know what? All the stuff you said, never fall in love with a woman. He said, based on you saying that, I have to unfollow you, brother. Strictly on that. And I said, hey, man, I thank you for your support. Thank you for riding this wave. But like I said about 2 or 3 years ago, I said, this wave is not going to be for everybody the entire time. I said, you know what? Lock the door behind you is what I said. I said, lock the door behind you, brother. Much love, man. And the thing is, in a situation like that, I think a man can be a simp because, you say, well, so you telling me a man can't walk with his woman's purse? And the thing is, it is not that a man can't walk with his woman's purse. You have to understand why that woman would want him to walk with her purse. You know what I'm saying? It's just like a man sitting at home drinking a cold brewski, watching a football game, and the wife comes in. He says, "Well, boo, throw the trash out, feed the dog, and cut the grass while you're out there." I mean, should a woman do it? If she's a team player, then she should roll like that. But the question is, why should a woman want a man that wants her to move like that? So that's all I was saying. So yeah, a man can be a simp, brothers. A man can be a simp. So let's go back to Will Smith, man. Let's go back to what we're experiencing, man. We're experiencing Will go through his awakening, man. We're watching Will go through his transition, his enlightenment stage. You know what I'm saying? And this is how I know it, brothers. You got to think about this. You got to think about what Will tapped into, what he probably accidentally tapped into last night. You got to think about this, man. Why do you think so many people on this planet can get controlled by a very small number of people? Think about this, man, because we about to get to the nuts and bolts of this thing, man. If you got the television on in the background, cut it off. We're about to get down to the nuts and bolts of this, man. And when I say this is going to be some of the realest stuff I've talked about, brother, this is going to open your eyes to why the world is the way it is, man. It's much bigger than him smacking somebody. It's bigger than that, brothers. Why do you think let's just say U.S. Why do you think the entire U.S., let's say the globe, is controlled, billions of people, is controlled by a very small amount of people? Does nobody ever think about that? Does nobody ever question, like, how does that happen? Like, y'all just raise taxes, y'all just raise gas, y'all just do all this stuff, and nobody giving y'all no smoke? No, nobody thinks about that? Think about this. Think about this. Think about all the men. Think about all the people. Where's that comment, brother? Think about all the men that go to work every day. All right, I had to get it out, brother. Think about all the men that go to work every day. The people that go to work every day and deal with management that's talking crazy to them, that's disrespecting them, that's calling them maybe racial slurs. I've been down there. If you in East Texas, you know how that road is. That are just disrespecting them on a daily basis, and they go through this for years. Why do you think that's normal for us to go through that right now? Think about what I'm saying, man. There are men that get up right now and go to work and get disrespected by men, and then go home and want to be alpha men. Why do they cope with that? There's a specific reason men do, brothers, and this is what Will is just now coming out of, man. Think about this. Why do you think there are so many men that deal with women that cheat on a regular basis? You can get with a man, he'll get with a woman, and you know, she's cheating, she's doing this, you know, she didn't had a baby by somebody, and they get back together. And why do you think men move like that? It goes back to what I'm saying, brothers. We are children of a lesser God. What do you mean, Soul? Because that's not making any sense right now, Soul. Like what that got to do with Will Smith smacking somebody on the stage? What that got to do with Will Smith simping? Will was out of order, man. What are you thinking of? What are you talking about? Children of a lesser God. The thing that Will overcame last night, we just happened to witness it. We just happened to witness it. The thing that Will overcame last night was understanding his fullness. And the thing is, most men fall into this by tragedy. Most men fall into this by being embarrassed. Most men find this by being traumatized. And as a result, they automatically tap into this other side and understand what it is. When I say children of a lesser God, this is what I'm saying, brothers. And I need y'all to really pay attention to this, man. Most people that you know, the far majority, not even most, the far majority of people you know, when they say the word God, they're really not talking about God. You gotta understand first to understand what Will went through. You first have to understand what oneness is. You first have to understand that most people are children of a lesser God. I'm gonna break that down, man. I'm gonna break that down, man. First off, man, if y'all aren't in the power circle, what we're about to get into here in the next 5-10 minutes, because I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna get on and get off of it, man. This is what we talk about in God Talk. Uncover, and I just talked about this in another video, man. I don't know if I posted that video yet. Well, I said, we have to start like men are always trying to advance in technology. We're trying to advance, get bigger cars, bigger houses, finer wives. But no man is trying to go outside of what we've always known spiritually. Why do you think man advances in all directions? We're flying planes now. We're building high rises. We're building electric cars. Man is always advancing. But you don't find it funny that man is never advancing in his spirituality? His spirituality remains in a box. Why do you think that is, brothers? It goes back. How do you think billions of people are controlled by a very small few? It's about light and it's about dark energies, brothers. It's about understanding fullness. It's about understanding light, and it's about understanding darkness. And I'm going to tell you, when a man falls into that, when a man finally discovers it, he moves reckless. And I'm going to go into it in a minute, brothers. 5-second break. 5-second break, brothers. We're going to go into that. Power circle.
He gives actual quotes that you probably never even heard before. He said that Henry Ford was aware of it. All of them aware of it. This is the secret inner teachings that that Napoleon Hill was not necessarily able to give out. This is one of the things that's missing from the secret. You are actually a broadcast tower that's broadcasting energy into the universe. And you wonder why you get the results you get and the people show up in your life, because it's what you're broadcasting.
The thing, it took me the longest out, when things weren't going my way, I was like, you know what? There's something I'm not doing.
and I was trying to figure out what that thing was. I would go to these books and say, you know what am I not doing? What do these people know that I don't know? What do I see people that are succeeding? Like, what do they know that I don't know?
All right, brothers, if you aren't informed on the Power Circle is where we meet weekly and some other stuff going on, man. A lot of positive brothers in there, a lot of brothers getting spiritual knowledge, a lot of brothers opening businesses, a lot of brothers that started, we're just a network of brothers that are seeking enlightenment, a network of brothers that are stepping outside of the box, a network of brothers that are deep thinkers, a network of brothers that are, iron sharpening iron. It's a beautiful thing, man. If you aren't in the circle, definitely consider the circle, brothers. It's a beautiful thing. Let's talk about this, man, real quick. But you have to understand this, man. And I'm going to try to say this simple. You have to understand this. Like I said a second ago, most people are worshiping light energy and calling it God. You have to understand that we've been trained as a society to worship light energy. To think, and I said in the text, in the conversation earlier with on the video, it's a Jesus complex. And I don't mean that as an insulting term. It's an energy. When I say light energy, like we only think good. And again, it goes back to that text I made the other day. I said a lot of brothers don't understand this. When I said that Hitler and MLK will be in the same place, brothers were like, what are you talking about? That lets me know that you don't understand the fullness of the all. Think about this. If your God, and we're going to get to will, if your God has an opposite, if your God has opposition, brother, I'm telling you, you clearly aren't going deep enough. You are simply a children of a lesser God. If your God, which consists of everything, if God consists of everything and nothing is outside of it, and your God has an opposite, brother, you're a children of a lesser God. And I'm telling you, there's a mental breakdown there. Going back to why I said, hey, why do you think a small amount of people can control the masses? Why do you think men go to work every day doing XYZ, taking BS and can't stand it? Why do you think men deal with cheating wives? Why do you think men have children that are disrespectful and all this stuff? It's because men are consumed and trained to consume, to focus only on light energy, to focus on one side of God, to focus on the yin without the yang. And when a man taps into that, when a man initially taps into that, brother, it looks like chaos. Think about what I'm saying. But and a brother said this earlier, man. He said, so where the phone, man? He said, so you like pick a side. I'm not sure how he said it. Pick a side. Like you give us all this, walk the path and stay straight and all that stuff. I give you light energy because most people aren't ready for dark. Most people aren't ready for dark. I can't even have this conversation with people. Very few people understand this. That think about this. The God that create light energy and goodness and good vibes created what you call the devil, whatever you want to call it. If the all is the all, then the devil must consist in it. Did not your messenger say there's a time to heal and a time to kill? That's after he found balance. That's after he went in full transition. That's a whole nother stuff. You're going to get that in the book. The book is coming out here the next, it should be pre-sale here the next number of weeks. And what I'm talking about now is only one chamber of unlocking the brain, brothers. You have to understand. Think about this. Think about this, brothers. Let's have real talk. Real talk. This is how slavery takes place. This is the only way slavery can take place. The only way that slavery can take place on a planet is to convince a people to focus only on light energy. It's the only way slavery can exist. To be controlled by a small amount of people, a mass amount of people that are getting abused, they're getting all this stuff, in our minds. Like a lot of us think back and say, you know what? I thought about it. I was like, man, how in the hell can you have 2 or 3 people on horses in a field and 400 people picking cotton with no smoke? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense when we think about it like that. You have to go inside a man's psyche. You have to go inside of a man's psyche. And when a man comes out of that, oh, he's tripping. He's tripping. But I'm telling you, when a man first taps into that, brothers, it's just like a baby learning how to walk. And Will just find. And the thing is this: Will just tapped into this last night. The thing is this: a lot of people will look at men that have money, men that are physically fit, men that are well off, men that are quote unquote successful in life. Those things have nothing to do with a man finding his fullness. Matter of fact, when a man finds it, these things that we praise men for, that man starts to slowly dislike those things because they go so far against of what it goes back to the book I'm always quoting, Master Key. It says when a man taps into his fullness, and I'm paraphrasing, it says that man starts to forget about the trinkets of this world. He begins to fall in love with the power itself. And what I'm telling you, brothers, about right now is that power, man. This is what your preacher's not going to tell you. This is what the deacons don't know, brothers. We are people that are consumed with light energy. Why do you think I talked about slavery? Why do you think right now, and I don't want to break this down to just one specific race. Y'all know I don't move like that. I'm a oneness person. But why do you think people of color are continually getting beat upside the dome like crazy? It's because we're consumed with light energy. We are a people of a lesser God. When you take a man's dark energy, you take a man's complete defense mechanism. You take a man's ability to say, you know what? I'm doing wrong. Like I'm not taking this anymore. I don't even care about the repercussions. I'm tapping into this energy. I'm not taking this anymore. And I went back, like I use the examples, man, about a man going to a job, a man having a wife that's cheating, a man having bad kids. When a man taps into that fullness, he's no longer tapping into that, brother. He's no longer entertaining that stuff. And that's what we witnessed Will Smith go through, man. Think about this. I brought up slavery. Think about this, man. Think about back in the slavery days. And I can keep saying slavery because slavery is one extreme case of light energy and dark energy. Appreciate that, K Short. K Short says, so it's okay for young brothers to commit violence if someone says something about their wife. That's that man's choice. That's that man's choice. Me making a decision on that, I'm too much in his business. I'm too much on in what he has going on. Should men just be walking around smacking people? Hell no, not for no reason. But even your Bible that people praise says there's a time to kill. Huh? If there's a time to kill, then surely getting some mercy, there's a time to smack a man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. We're digging too deep into how other people are moving. And I saw the brother said, okay, we don't talk about how brothers are moving, but Soul is talking about Will Smith. I'm showing you what's going on in Will Smith's internal so you can understand. I guarantee you the brother that said that is probably going to work tomorrow and miserable. Either he has no women or he has a woman that's probably texting Joe Blow right now. Probably texting Cletus. Because men that move in that mindset, they're consumed with that. They're too consumed with that world, brother. It's not about that. What I'm saying is, for this conversation, I understand that morally we shouldn't be walking around smacking people. I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even talking about what Will Smith and should he be with Jada. That's irrelevant to what I'm talking about right now, brothers. I'm talking about light and dark energy. I'm talking about God and his fullness. It's not about smacking someone. But I understand why he did, and I'm trying to tell you, brothers. I can remember when I went through that transition. I've gone through it in stages. I've gone through it when I've had to get violent. I've gone through it while I had to get angry and respond. And it sent me to my fullness. I'm telling you this, man. I'm going to say this, brother. A man becomes powerful when he's able to become an alchemist, when he's able to take his goodness and his darkness and balance those. A man becomes powerful. And I can tell when a man goes through it because the moment he does it, he's reckless. The moment he feels it, he's reckless. And let's talk about Will last night. Let's talk about Will. Chris Rock is on stage. Chris Rock is giving his spiel. Appreciate that super chat, brother Kurt. He's giving his spiel. And you know what? Will was playing the whole Hollywood game. Let's talk about Will's internal for a second. Will was playing the whole Hollywood game. He's sitting there in his suit and he's looking, amongst his Hollywood peers. And Chris Rock is giving his spiel and everybody's giving the fake laughs. I mean, we know Chris Rock ain't that funny like he used to be. Everybody's playing the Hollywood game. Chris Rock picks on his wife. Will is still playing the Hollywood game. He's like, this guy's funny. And then for a minute, they don't show Will. They show something else, Chris Rock. Will sitting there laughing and Jada's kind of I can only imagine. I wasn't there and it wasn't on TV. I didn't see. I can only imagine Will looked over at Jada and saw something, right? I always tell you that a woman is a man's reflection. A woman is a man's reflection. Now, I'm going outside of the whole, I'm not even talking about what they did. I'm talking about that man and that woman. None of the BS. I can only imagine that Will looked at her and saw how she was feeling and said, you know what? Like that's how the hell I should have been feeling. Because it went from Will laughing to Will walking on stage. I'm assuming, Will probably saw his wife's face and said, you know what? It probably woke something up. It probably mixed those chemicals. It probably woke up his yang, man. It probably opened him up to his fullness. When I say his fullness, he probably stepped into his permission to use his dark energy. I'm telling you, brothers, that's why a lot of you brothers are hating life, because you're scared to use that dark energy. That's what happened to Will last night. I'm gonna tell you, man, this is like thing. This is the thing, brothers. This is the best way I can explain it. When it's time for a man to die and leave this planet, we have no control over that, right? We have no control over that. I can sit here and die while on this live stream. I could wake up tomorrow and get, whatever. All of us could die any moment. Nobody has any control over that, right? And when a man goes, he just goes, right? What we witnessed last night was Will Smith dying to his old self. We witnessed Will Smith dying to his old self. It's just unfortunate that he was at the Oscars. It's just unfortunate that Chris Rock was an accomplice in waking him up. It's unfortunate that he got smacked on TV. But just like when a man dies, he has no control over when that happens, man. And when that happens, a man acts reckless. I've been there, brothers. I've been forced to tap into that dark side. And I'm telling you this, when I fully submerged in myself and accepting that, because all I did is accept God in his fullness. All I did was accept God in his fullness. It looks radical. Think about this. Perfect example. Think about, going back to the slavery analogy. Think about what it was like when all the slaves were on the plantation and everything was in order, right? Everything was in order. Brother Lone Star, appreciate that, man. If y'all haven't checked out Brother Lone Star's channel, man, this brother is a phenomenal producer here in Dallas. My brother. His brother works with some of the top talent on the planet. Major producer, man. I know he has lots of courses, lots of consulting. If you're in the music industry, definitely get with this brother, man. He is A1 in his craft. Appreciate that shout out, brother, that super chat. Let's go back to the plantation, right? Everything is well. Life is good. Everybody is in order. Slaves are picking cotton and singing Negro spirituals, and everybody's happy, right? Everybody's focused on light energy. Forgive those. Everybody's focused. Now think about this. Let's say one day a man gets hit one strike too hard. Huh? One strike too hard, and it does something to him. Let's call this man Nat Turner for GP, right? Let's say this man says, you know what? Something in me, like that last blow, me seeing you, violate my queen, violate my son or my daughter, it did something in me. It opened something to me that I didn't know it existed. It opened something to me, man, that I've been trained not to even occupy that space. Once he occupies that space, he's a monster. Nat Turner walks on stage and he's smacking people. And we're saying, oh, he's a simp. Oh, he's acting emotional. And he is acting emotional. But I'm telling you, when a man first hits that counterbalance, he can't control himself. He acts reckless. I'm telling you, men act reckless when this is exposed. So think about Nat Turner. Nat said that in his mind, think about this. He had to say, you know what? At some point, man, I'm probably gonna get caught. And they probably gonna hang me. They probably gonna burn me. Like, odds are I'm going to die behind this. I'm telling you, brother, I'm telling you, brother, because it's so many, but when you come into this fullness, when you become immoral and occupy both light and dark sides, brother, when I say you are immortal, this world is nothing to you. Think about going back to Will. You think Will cared about an Oscar last night? This is his industry. This is where he makes money. This is where all of his colleagues are. You don't think Will is smart enough to say, you know what, let me conduct myself like this is how I get my bag. Will tapped into something that said, brother, this stuff is irrelevant. This money you pay me, these trinkets, these awards, they're irrelevant. That's the only way a man can walk up in an award show and walk up there and smack somebody. That's how I fully understood what he was talking about, what he was going through. That's why I was celebrating, not the fact that there was some people getting smacked. I was celebrating the fact that a man woke up. I was celebrating the fact that a man tapped into his darkness and now he's in his fullness. I'm gonna tell you this: Will Smith, the old Will Smith is dead, brothers. I'm telling you this, man. Going forward, and this is the thing. I don't even know if it's safe to say that Jada would be in his life now, because the way he's been operating over the last 6 months, even if that's how they move, tolerating all this stuff and disrespect, getting on TV, being made. A brother in his fullness can't operate like that. You just can't operate like that. Just like when a man gets in his fullness, he can no longer go to a job and be mistreated. He can no longer be in a relationship where women are cheating. He's in his fullness. He's part of his greatness. He's zero tolerant at that point. Will is going to be a different person, man. I wouldn't be surprised, man, because think about this: to be as successful as he is, as he is, and just now tap into that dark energy, brother, no telling what this brother's world is going to do. He might mess around and buy a Universal Studios in the next 5. He might just change the whole game. He's a different Will Smith now, man. So when I'm talking about why I feel he did the right thing, it's not about the acts of what he did. I'm more proud of the brother coming into this fulfillment. And a brother can't make a move like that unless he's tapped into that. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, brothers. I'm gonna put this link up here, man. If anybody want to come in and chime on this light, dark energy, what he did, what he shouldn't have did, feel free to come in and chat, brothers. But I'm telling you, I just put the link down there. But I'm telling you this, man. This is why a lot of men's life are the way they are, because they fail to tap into this. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. That's why I'm talking about Will Smith. That like the brother said, he's talking. This is why I'm talking about Will, because this is what I want you brothers to tap into. The thing is this, man. Until you tap into this, you haven't even lived life. I was 40 plus years old before I actually started living in my fullness. I was 40 plus years old before I started living in my fullness, before I understood that I could walk around the world in love. But I have so much love, man. I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what background. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care none of that stuff, because all I do is love, man. I've tapped into that fullness. At the same time, I will walk on the stage at the Grammys and smack the snot out of somebody without even thinking about it. That's what the church isn't teaching you, man. The church is saying, oh, Jesus and all that stuff, and that's good. But nobody's telling you about the other side. And the thing is this: what I'm telling you about, it's in your Bible. It's in your Bible, man. But you're looking at the world, you're looking at the Bible through the ends of all light. You're children of a lesser God, man. You're children of a lesser God. What's going on, K Short?
Hey, what's happening, man?
Our life is good, big bro.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. I understand you now. After you really explain what you were saying, I kind of understand what you meant now. So,
yeah. And I appreciate that super chat, man. Appreciate that comment. The thing is this: like, all I'm trying to say, man, is like going to the nuts and bolts of what took place. Somebody smacking somebody on stage. I mean, that's not the best of looks. But what I'm saying is, once a man starts looking at the world through his God lenses, He sees it different, man. And I'm telling you, what Will Smith went through last night, the moment every man goes through that, brother, the world will change instantly. The world will balance itself. And the thing is, the reason why it's like this is a system. It's not meant for us to focus on anything other than light. Because once you focus on both, you're ungovernable. You're ungovernable, man, because you're in your full power, man. And I'm telling you, go ahead, bro.
If that's so, then why am I like I am? Because I haven't been through all that. You know what I mean?
Elaborate.
So it's like you say that negative energy. I've been in that negative energy, and so I'm still not at the place I want to be in life. So why is that?
When you were in that negative energy, I bet you called it wrong.
Yeah, I did.
I bet you judge it. Like when the Bible says, "Thou shalt not judge." That's not really about us saying, you know what, this man is a good man, he's a righteous man, she's a bad woman, she's that. Us judging is not about that. It's about our power. Because once you don't judge a thing, now it can't. Now you have full power over it. You call it in other words. And I heard what's the name say this years ago. Was it Greg Braden? He was talking about them getting rid of the cancer in a woman's body. And the doctors over in the East said, you know what? The reason why y'all in the West don't have that power like we do to just get cancer out of a woman's body, he said, because y'all are calling cancer bad. He said, the moment you stop calling cancer bad and just call it what it is, like it's just an energy that I no longer want to associate with. Now you have power over it. Like I made a tweet a few days ago. And I don't know what I was saying. I was like, you got to be careful about when people give you praise or when people give you negative energy. Like if you want a person that takes both the same, like a lot of people will take being praised and saying, hey, good job, and put that to heart. It's, oh man, thank you. What they don't understand is when they take that as a good or bad energy, they're giving someone the power to manipulate them in a foreign time. Think about this. Most people came on my video earlier and said, you know what, so normally you're on point, but this time I agree with you. What if I let all that praise, all those likes, all those good comments over the years be attached to me as good energy? And now all of a sudden everybody's saying, so you're wrong, but I would have been going downhill because I'm attached to that now. It's like now you're in control of my energy, but I take it just as good raw energy, right? Just like I take the bad comments, I take it as just raw energy. The way I can do with it what I want. That's how we have to start looking at good and bad. That's what Will did last night. When Will got on that stage last night, he wasn't saying, oh man, I'm doing a bad thing. He said, I'm doing what I want to do. He said, I'm being in my full energy. The moment we judge that stuff, brothers, we start losing energy on it, man. Lose energy on it, brothers.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I don't have anything else to say, man. I'm done. Thank you.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yep.
I'm telling you, brothers, this will change a man's life. I'm telling you, brothers, and I'm about to get out here, man. Unless anybody else want to come in and chime on, put this link back up here. If anybody has any questions, any rebuttals, I want to talk about this. I'm not sitting here saying I'm right. I'm telling you what's going on in the internal. Now we can look at the external and say, you know, Will, this is the thing. Will could have very well caught a charge. But I'm telling you, when a man initially goes through that, he's not stable in that energy now. It's brand new to. That's how I know he had just tapped into it last night. Will Smith is a professional man. There are very few things. There is only one thing that can make Will Smith get on stage and smack a man. Only one thing, him tapping into that fullness and not understanding what it is. I'm telling you, man, when a man is triggered, are there men in prison because of this? Yes. Yes, there are. Same reason Nat Turner is dead behind this. There are consequences behind it. But at the same time, a man is tapped into eternity. Once you tap into that fullness, man, like when the Bible talks about, let me post this again, brother. When the Bible talks about some of you shall not die. I see you, brother Wilburn. I'm gonna get you on her second, but when a man talking about when the Bible says, I think Jesus was talking to his disciples or whatever the scenario was, when it says that some men shall never taste death, who do you think he was talking about? Because all those brothers he was talking to took horrible deaths. Some of them brothers were beheaded. Some of them brothers fell in pits and, all them brothers died. So what was he talking about? Some of you shall never taste death. That's that fullness, brothers. Soul will never taste death. I'll never taste death. That's why I don't fear it. That's why if push come to shove, that's why I will do what I'll do. Are you moving reckless? Yes, I'm reckless. I'm reckless. I'm slow to anger. I'm slow to anger. But once I cross that line, I'm reckless because I embody that dark energy. I embodied it. It's mine. It's part of my fullness. And I'm telling you, once you understand that, your world is going to change, brothers. Because once I understood that, I would go to work and I said, you know what? If I'm a God in my fullness and I'm tolerating this, dealing with women that are promiscuous and all this, and I'm in my fullness, I understood who I was, man. I understood who I was. What's going on, Brother Wilmer?
What's happening with you, man? Appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. So this is my take on it. I understand that a lot of people won't really, understand this or accept this. What are your thoughts on the whole situation?
First of all, I agree with a high majority of what you're saying. What the clarity I'm looking for is, like you just said a couple minutes ago, if you were to let people's comments sink into you, if you held on to them, it seems like it would get you to that point. I feel like you're above that. I've been following you for a long, long time, man. So you're above letting people's comments stick to you.
Oh yeah.
It seems. So I'm just looking for clarity here. It seems like you're condoning Will. So you're at the same time saying, well, look at all the stuff that Will has been going through. Look at everything he's been saying. Well, if he was like you, where he wasn't letting it stick to him, it doesn't seem like he would have been in this situation where he ended up going up and smacking somebody. So
exactly. And I'm glad you said it, brother. That's a perfect example. Because think about this. Like when I talk about a man being, think about this. We're talking about the old Will Smith. The reason why Will is in this situation is because he's allowed people to manipulate the way he feels.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like post Will Smith, this stuff would no longer affect him, man. And it's because he's in that fullness now. Think about this. Think about this, man. Perfect question. Like you can't, if you don't fully understand the swinging of the pendulum, if you don't fully understand the law of rhythm, if a man doesn't, not saying you, brother, if a man doesn't understand the full pendulum swing of lightness and darkness, he can't be in a position that doesn't judge. Like he spiritually can't because he's only one-sided. Yeah. Like he can't embrace the whole thing. So when you talk about a man being emotionally engaged or a man being emotionally, provoked or whatever, it's because he doesn't understand that fullness. Like when I can, for example, when a lot of brothers come on and say, "So you missed the bus today, like you were wrong," I can take that with the same energy just as I do when brothers say, "So you on point," because now I understand the fullness. But when I was all focused on light and this is all I saw, if somebody came from the other side, it was like, whoa, like whoa, brother, that's harsh, that's bad. Like, why would you come from me from such a dark angle? Yeah. But now I am darkness. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's all love. And now that's what I'm telling you, man, that's what triggered him. It's almost like a door in this. Say if you have lightness and darkness on one side, and something triggered you to just open that door and to step in it and say, you know what? Like, this is part of me too. And it happens in a moment. And I'm telling you, when it happened to me, brother, I almost went to jail. I'm not gonna lie. Was it stupid? It was crazy. And I said it was stupid several times. But at the same time, I understand. That's why I understand what Will went through. Will Smith wouldn't have done nothing like that. That brother was exposed to something, man. I mean, think how long we've been kicking this brother. Memes and his wife, and I'm not. I mean, that was the last straw. It opened up, and it'll never close, brother. It'll never close. All these memes will never affect that man again. He will never sit in front of his wife and cry tears. He'll never do it, man. It's simply about embodying our darkness, man.
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing. I hate what I saw last night. I hate seeing a man, get on stage and do that. But at the same time, I have to celebrate when a man finds his true self, his full self. It's a beautiful thing, man, because I understand what comes with it, man. Like there's nothing like it, brother.
Yeah. I just think understanding now, like with this session you just had, I've been here since you jumped on, and it clears up a lot. But see, the video you posted this morning, that was 5 minutes, so it didn't seem like he was saying this. I think you know what you were saying, but it might not have translated, because it seemed like you were celebrating that Will went up there and smacked him, and you was like, y'all need to take notes. And we were like, wait a minute.
I'm not saying that, but this is what I'm saying. And I use the situation in that video. Like I talked about my son, like when a man taps into that, other men sense that.
Yeah.
Other men can sense that energy on a man. It's like the reason why going back to the Russell Wilson situation. You can look at Russell's situation of marrying Sierra and match him up with 1,000 men that we aren't calling simps. It's because Russell Wilson, as successful, as athletic as he is, he has no idea that dark energy exists in him. He has no idea it exists.
Yeah.
So a man can be successful, but still not be full.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where a Nipsey can love. He can, even in a world that says don't marry women, Nipsey can bring on a sister that haven't had the best track record and love her. He can fully tap into that love without worrying about what any man thinks. But at the same time, y'all remember when Nipsey walked up to their brother about parking in the wrong parking spot?
Yeah.
Nipsey smacked him on TV. You know what I'm saying? He did the exact same thing because he has that balance. Gucci Man can love Keisha Kior, man. She has a slight track record, but that's his 5% woman. He can fully love her. He can fully get on camera and talk about how much he loves her. A lot of men can't do that.
Yeah.
A lot of men can't do that. That shows that Gucci has tapped into something heavy. He's fully submerged himself in that light energy. At the same time, we all know Gucci will pull one if he got to, and will take a man's life without thinking about it. That's why men fear him. The system fears him. That's the energy the system doesn't want us to get into. And it's not about violence. It's not about violence. It's about having the ability to tap into it if need be. Yeah. Going back to Nat Turner, why do you think they hung Nat Turner? They said they hung Nat Turner on the street for several days. I think till his body just started decomposing because they had to make sure none of y'all should ever tap into this.
Yeah.
Because if y'all tap into this, what are we gonna do? How are we possibly gonna control y'all?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's important. It's important that people don't tap into this. But you have to understand that it's all love. Because it's all God, it's all one, it's all coming from the same place of love because God is love. Right. And if God created the MLKs, then God created the Hitlers. You know what I'm saying? It's like once a man understands that, brother, I'm telling you, the world will fear you and you won't even know it. Just by you knowing, not you, just by a brother knowing that information and walking in it, the world will respond to you different. Yeah. The world will respond to you different, man. Yeah. I remember when I went to Cape Town. When I went to Cape Town, man, that was the most beautiful planet on the earth, man. And what I noticed over there is just like the U.S. When a lot of people, I'll say this, like it's kind of like East Texas, like Longview. When you go to East Texas, if you're a black man walking to East Texas, you go in a restaurant, you're gonna feel a certain vibe. You're gonna feel a superiority complex that you didn't know existed. It's like the people that are doing it don't understand it, and most people that are accepting it don't understand it. Because when I grew up in that town, I just fell victim to it. I fell in place. I said, this is the energy that's here. But once I understood that, now when I go back home, people can feel that on me. And when I was saying, like when I went to Cape Town, like a lot of the black people over there, man, when they treat themselves like subhuman. That's the only thing I didn't like about it over there. And a lot of the people, the non-black people, treated black people like that. So when I walked in a room, whether it's a restaurant, whatever it is, they could feel that energy on me. They can see the way I look them in the eyes. They can see the way I address them. And they say, this man is stepped into that balance. Yeah. Like this man is love. He's courteous. He's a big tipper. But if we step wrong, this man is going to check me on spot. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you this too, brother. And if you got to dip, you're going to dip. I'm going to bring Brother Ace business up, man. Yeah. But to be honest, and I want some of the sisters in the comment. Sisters comment on this. A lot of times, this is the one thing that sisters are turned off that brothers don't have. We can easily look at the Pookies and the Ray Rays and say, you know what, she's dating this dude, and why is she doing this? It's because a lot of the Pookies and Ray Rays have this. Mm-hmm. They might not have a lot of money. They might be on the trap every day. They might be, can't find a job. All this stuff that we associate with them. But you're like, why does this woman want that? Because when a man taps into his fullness, it's the most attractive thing to a woman. And she might not even understand what it is, but it's something about, right? I mean, it ties into her protection.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this. Think about how I think Jada already felt some kind of way about Will. I'm gonna bring Brother Ace on so at the same time, bro. I think Jada already felt some kind of way about Will, as far as like, you know, like you don't move like Pac did. Like, I love you, you love me, but you ain't got that dark energy.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, if Will wouldn't have done that and they got in the car last night, think how she would look at him. She would be like, bro, you done went through the whole Alcina, you done went through all you memes, you came on the red table and I semi-clown you, and now you got Chris Rock up there disrespecting, you know, like, bro, like when are you gonna tap in? That turns a woman off, man. But the fact that she did, and I don't know what their relationship is doing. I don't know what it's been doing. I don't know what it's gonna do going forward. But I guarantee you, man, something in her was more drawn to that man. Like you know what? Like baby, like that was the wrong move. Like we don't smack people on Oscar stages. Like we're the Smith. We don't do that. Like Will, you don't do that. But something in her is saying, damn, like you finally showed up. And what she's really saying is you finally found that balance. You finally found that dark energy. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying, man. I'm not condoning smacking black men, but if a black man got to get smacked for a man to find his feelings, then line him up.
Yeah.
Line him up, bro. What's going on, brother AB?
How you doing, beloved? How you doing, Ralph?
Hey, appreciate it, brother Will. Brother Will, appreciate that, man.
Right on, man. Peace.
All right, beloved. What's going on, brother soul?
Man, life is good. God is good. Man, I'm telling you, man, it doesn't get any greater than this, man.
Truly. I come from one perspective, brother soul. Maybe a few, but I'm gonna address this first one. I agree with you on his emergence. But I question if it was directed properly, since he's new to that energy. So because he's new to that energy, he's probably basking in the abyss of darkness. And I question, was it properly directed? Do he fully understand what he has come into? And we all know that's a no. My thing is this, brother. Does the transgression against his wife justify such a hard action that he took?
You know what, though? I agree with you saying, brother. At this point, last night, it wasn't even about Jada anymore. I you know, Chris Rock addressed her, and it all went through Jada, but it really had nothing to do with her. It was strictly about him and him. It was like, you know what? Like, how much more can I be disrespected? Like as far as my wife, that's already gone to the bottom. I know a youngster is smashing. I like, you know, all this stuff. Like, it's about me now. And how am I going to walk out of this stage like after you kick me while I'm down, man? It just triggered him. Now, did he act responsibly? No, not at all. And that part of me hates that he did that. That's why I say that a man acts reckless. And what happened to me, man, and I don't want to repeat the story, but when I went through that stage, the first time I went through that and I had to tap into that, brother, I was about to go to jail for life. I went to go get my car fixed, and all of a sudden I'm with my wife, and this man is, and I wasn't even thinking about I wasn't thinking about being disrespected, but that's what was taking place. This man, I'm a young man, you know, this man is disrespecting me in front of my wife. He was saying pretty much, yeah, you gave me $600, but you need to kick rocks. Like, you're in my way now. And my wife is sitting here looking, I'm like, bro, that hurts, but let me talk to this brother sensibly. And I'm sitting there having conversations, and this brother looked at me and looked around my corner and said, next, as if to say, be gone. That took me there, brother. In my mind, I was like, not only how's my wife going to look at me going forward, how am I going to look at myself?
Let me ask you a question when you're done, brother.
I went to the parking lot, pop trunk, and I was walking back to the store, weapon in hand. I'm walking. I had no idea what I was doing. I was moving stupid. And when I told the story before, I tell brothers, brother, I was moving reckless, stupid, and ignorant. I thank God my brother-in-law was in there, man. Boy, my brother, my wife's sister's husband, whatever. And he came in and just tackled me, bro. And I snapped out of it, like, bro, I don't know. Like, thank you for that. So I understand what Will could possibly have jeopardized his whole career.
I'm gonna use. Do you mind me using one analogy?
Oh, sir.
Let's use the animated character Goku. He's the most innocent, kindest being we can never damn near see. But when it's time for that dark energy, that serious energy, for him time to fight things that he believes is wrong, immorally wrong, we see that Goku goes into a whole nother mode when it comes to defending the things he feels precious to him. Now we know the regular Goku, innocent, funny. Sometimes we know that he ran over by Chi-Chi. We know that he's the most lighthearted Saiyan that we ever seen. But when it comes to him in that serious energy, how he can flip the switch, his voice change, his whole voice change, his demeanor changes. Let's just use that Goku analogy. Now let's apply it to Will Smith.
Analogy.
Now let's use the Will Smith. Will Smith has come into, let's say he did come into this new energy where it's masculine, it's aggressive, it's assertive. What happens if we're wrong, brother Soul? What happens if he doesn't channel that energy and to combat in his help me, which is Jada? What happens when he comes into that energy, but he still lacks the confidence to assert that towards Jada? Now what we will say, what will we say if our assertion is wrong? What if he doesn't take that newfound energy and chastise, edify his helpmeet, who's been causing him such frustration? Because we know that he's been publicized and publicized by the masses for the past years. But we know that most of his frustration has come from his castration, from his wife. Now, if this energy is new to him, what happens when he still don't understand how to edify his helpmeet with that? What happens when he lashes out to everyone except the source of his problem, which is not just social media, seeing how he's degraded, but what happens when his very real, the thing that we call his helpmeet, is very real? What happens when he don't know how to still chastise and edify her, but he has come into this newfound energy? What happens then?
The thing is, like some people do that. Like if once a man finds that dark energy, it's a very good chance that man can go over all the way over to the other side. And now he's fully engulfed in dark energy. That's just as bad as being fully engulfed in light energy.
Yes,
when you see a man that all they want to do is talk about crime, all they want to do is keep going to jail, all they want to do is keep causing harm on people, they're fully submerged on the other side. But both are neither good. Like both are an extreme of each other. The same thing that keeps people slavery is the exact same energy on the opposite end that keeps people in prison.
I agree, brother.
It's the same thing, just on different scope. And it's a good chance that he could go all the way over. It's a good chance that he could come back into that light, because for a lot of times, for me, I think it took me exposing that dark a few times. Like one time it might have took me expose the violent side of me. One time it might have exposed, like me having no food and hungry, and I had to tap into some other side of me. It could have been trauma. Some men kind of fade in and out. But at some point when a man steps in it and he understands it,
yes.
And I really think Will understands it, man.
One more thing. So when you're done, brother, go ahead. I don't want to hold you too long, but one more thing
brother, go ahead,
before you take off, because I just got off work. Okay, he's new to this energy, right? How long do you think it would take him to understand the highs and lows of this energy, the positive things that come with dark energy and the negative things that come with dark energy? That's one question for you, brother. So, and my only second question is this. When it comes to the female in this society, does he know how to reprogram himself first from a mental standpoint? Second, do he understand what he has come into his manhood? And do he know how to understand that, it's okay to treat my helpmeet with such aggression when it's appropriate. It's okay to chastise her and edify her, even if she cries, hurts her feelings. Because like I said, most of his frustration is due to his domestication, because he's a neutered man. That's no secret. There's no jab at Brother Will.
Yeah,
he's a neutered man. He's a domesticated man. And he's a man who's been castrated. So now that he's in this newfound dark energy, how long do you think it'll take him to understand the positive side of it and the negative side of it?
I'll say this, brother. To understand it, I'm gonna tell you what a man would do. And it may take Will longer, and I'll tell you why. This is how a man understands it. As soon as he taps into it, the first thing a man does is turn around and look backwards. The first thing he does is look. Hindsight is 20/20. He takes that knowledge and he applies it to everything as far back as his mind will think of. He goes back to why that woman didn't want him in a relationship back in his 20s. He goes back to thinking why in 8th grade the certain brothers kept bullying him and not the other brothers. It goes back to he goes back to everything, and that's what it makes sense. The problem about Will Smith, for the last number of years, he's been in such a prosperous state. Maybe he hasn't seen a lot of challenges that a lot of people seek, and that may make it, you know, more challenging for him to accept. But I think it's an individual thing. I think when a man first taps into it, he first looks back. Like Will Smith may look back, and his first stop might be, you know what? How could I have avoided this whole situation?
Yeah.
Because this whole situation should have been avoided.
Yes.
It should have never happened.
Yeah.
Will Smith should not be smacking somebody on the Oscar stage.
Right.
It should not be happening. He let himself get here. A lot of people said that. They're right. Will let himself get here, but the fact that he got here, this was the only way out at the time it happened. Man. So he's gonna look back and say, you know what, man, you know what? This woman was moving, and I don't know if they had an agreement to see other people. He's gonna say, you know what, this woman cheated on me right then. If I am who I say I am, I should have killed that noise. At the same time, if he was who he was then, that woman would have responded to him different.
Yes, I agree.
Brother, I'm telling you, when a man is in his energy, I'm gonna tell you this, bro. A woman, I'm gonna tell you this. A lot of sisters are gonna disagree with this, but I wouldn't get with a sister that didn't understand this. A woman should have a certain level of the fear of God from a man.
Yes, I agree.
Just like a child should have it. You know what I'm saying? When a husband walks in the house, that child should conduct himself differently. The fact that if a woman has a certain man, she might have been on the street. She might have been in everybody's DM last year. She might have been dealing with brothers that did all this stuff. She might have been in for the streets. And 10 years later, she get with a brother that has this balance. Brother, she's gonna have fear and reverence for this brother. She's gonna move in the energy like, you know what, this brother loves me, but I know he has zero room for error.
Now let me ask you this, brother. So, what type of woman understands that fear? Most of those women are living in their femininity. We're talking about women who understand that without masculinity, it's certain parts and doors in her femininity that will never be unlocked.
True.
We both have keys for each other. A woman's femininity has a lot of keys for our masculine doors and vice versa. So the type of woman you talking about in mass, how many women in mass understand that type of fear, that righteous fear and that malevolent fear? Because we're talking about a whole nother level of woman on a different vibration.
Man, yeah. We're talking about a 1%er. We're talking about a 5%. Very few women understand that. And you know what? You know what? A woman that really understands it, she moves in it without even having to be with a man. She understands she understands that the thing she's doing now, that her future man is going to have an issue with it. So she's always up under that energy.
Yes.
To some degree. Like you said, you have some women that are roaming the world and they're single and they're conducting themselves a certain way. That's reverence for mankind as a whole, man.
Yes, sir.
That's reverence, man. I wouldn't get with a woman that didn't understand that, because she understands that duality is ultimate love, is ultimate protection.
Yes. And one more thing, brother. So
yes, sir.
When it comes to the departments of headship, do you agree that nowadays a lot of women only seek the financial part of headship from men? And a lot of men, because they're new to certain parts of knowledge, when we say provision, it seems like the masses of women are only echoing the financial part of provision. Yep. But what happens when she's in distress emotionally? We know that women have emotional storms every day. Her emotional sea can be calm at one moment, and it can be a high tidal wave at another moment. Let's link that to Will. Now that he's in his newfound energy, as the head in his marriage, can he understand that it's certain parts of certain parts of Jada's help meet skills that's been tainted, that's been pollutinized, to the point that even though he's coming to this epiphany and revelation, it's some things about her help me skills that are just detrimental to his whole way of doing things. Yep. And my thing is this, brother. So what you think about that?
Well, I think that a lot of men go through this stage, and Will could be included. They can go through this stage and find this balance and wake up the very next day and look at his Jada, look at his wife and say, you know what? This woman is no longer a fit for me.
Yes.
Like she's no longer a fit for me, man. Because a man, and it goes back to what you're saying, man, about how a lot of ladies now, when you talk about, a man coming in their life, it's strictly about financial.
Yes.
Now that road goes so many ways. It goes one way goes toward us making women move in such a manner like men, then a woman doesn't need those elements anymore.
Yes, sir.
Like women being professional in the market. I'm proud of that, man. I love seeing women get it, but it has thrown the balance off. Because if you're doing XYZ, then you don't need a certain thing. It's thrown the balance off, man. Some women can get there and still get it, but it goes back to this. It goes back to this whole, it goes back to this whole energy thing, man. I guarantee you that what Jada experienced with this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm saying. I guarantee you, Will fully understood and understands more now that he would never be able to fill Tupac's shoes. You know what I'm saying? He might couldn't put a finger on it. He probably couldn't, like, why does she have so much love for this brother? Because we know Pac was tied to both sides. Pac was fearless. When a man is fearless, when a man no longer is worried about, man, this thing might take my life. I might not have food behind this. I might not have nowhere to live tomorrow behind this. When a man understands who he is, he moves. Pac moved reckless, man. Pac moves reckless, man. He was shooting cops. He was doing all kind of crazy stuff. He shouldn't have been doing that, but I understood he was just fully engulfed in both sides. And Will could look at Jada and say, you know what? There's something about Pac I will never be able to be. Right. And I think for the first time last night, he felt that. Like, oh, snap, like this is the energy of Tupac. This is the energy of darkness. Like I have access to this. And because see, most people, when they feel it, they feel like it's wrong. So even though they're feeling it, they run from it. Once you embrace it, brother, you walk different. You fear nothing, man. You actually embrace that. I actually embrace death now, brother. Like I embrace it because it's like I'm already tied to the all. I'm already living my eternal self. So me just leaving this body will change nothing. I'm just already living from the mind of that all. Like what even the Bible says. Even the Bible says, don't fear a man that can take the body. Fear the man that can get that soul.
Correct.
This body is nothing, man. And I couldn't make sense of that for the longest. I'm like, bro, it goes back to what the messenger was saying. Some of you shall not taste death. That's what he was talking about. If Will can hold this balance, he shall never see death.
I hope, brother, so he finds a way to direct it, and not only his marriage, but personal life, mentally, morally, but most of all, we know that right now is needed in his marriage. And because the brother is new to it, I think it's going to take some time for him to really compartmentalize how to use this energy. It's like a new form of a saying. You need to see all the abilities of it. You new to it. You trying to figure out what if look at this, brother. So what if it was just a glitch, just like Goku, like I used the Goku analogy. What if he became a Super Saiyan, but he lost the form? What if it was just for a second? Is he really living in this energy now? We don't know that. We don't know if this brother really living in this energy or not. It could be just a flash in the pan of what's to come. But I would say this: if he is, I hope the brother aim it properly, righteously, and do what's needed.
I think that if he isn't fully submerged in it now, I think this is the first time he's tasted it in a long time, if ever. It tasted this much of it, like really, to walk on stage and smack somebody, man. Like it takes a lot of energy.
Yes.
Brother King says Gucci Man killed a man in self-defense. Now you saying he's a killer? That's a good scenario. He killed a man in self-defense. It's no different. He still had to access that energy. Do you know how many people have been shot, been stabbed with weapons in their hands? Do you know how many people spent time on plantations and died on plantations and didn't fight back in self-defense? That's the point I'm trying to make, brother or sister King. Like it was self-defense, but it's the same energy. It still takes now, and like I said, sometimes situations will make you do it. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was in a situation and a brother angered me, it brought some out of me. When Will Smith is on a grand stage and the whole world is looking at him, it put him in that energy. So Gucci Man was possibly putting that energy. If he didn't want to take a life and he had to, he still had to access that darkness to do it. That's why I say you can't judge it. That's why I say like when you can't possibly judge what Gucci Man did, take a life and call it bad.
No, it was
You can't,
aimed properly. It
yeah.
was aimed properly. His energy was aimed justifiably.
At the
Yes.
same time, let's take a man that's working the lever at death row.
Mm,
He did the exact same thing Gucci did, but
mm,
we'll call it bad.
mm.
And it comes down to us judging, and it comes down to our understanding. Like I don't support capital punishment. I just don't. I don't think we have that ability, but I don't call it bad.
Mm.
I look at it just like cancer. It's just something I don't support, that I just don't want to vibrate with. Like if I support it, or if I agree with it or don't, call it good or bad, now it has a control over my emotions.
Correct.
Now I'm plugged to it. You know, I don't think Hitler was the best man, but I can't say, because I know he's going to be in the same place where, you know, I know he's taught everything is in the all. He was just fully submerged in that darkness. If I had to make a guess, man. So,
Brother Soul, because you understand the balance of dark forces and light forces, you can't be biased. And a lot of people haven't got to that vibration yet.
yeah.
No, evil can't coexist without good, and good can't coexist without evil. And because it's so many lessons of knowledge, wisdom, understanding. First of all, the lessons of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is limitless. It's the abyss. We're gonna die not knowing everything. But because you understand that on that level, beloved, most people in the masses won't understand what you're saying. So just know you're not alone, brother. And we Gen Z black men, we appreciate you, brother Soul. Believe that we listen to you. And I make sure all my peers from 18 to where I'm at 23, we hear you, we respect you, we honor you, beloved, as our elder brother, and we appreciate the wisdom that you bestow upon people who just now coming into just the basic levels of understanding. And just understand this, brother. So you're not alone when it comes to vibing on those high vibrations. You got brothers out here, such as myself. I'm with you. So never feel alone, brother Soul, and keep doing what you're doing, beloved. I love you, God, and I got to roll out, but keep teaching.
Much love, God.
Love.
You know what, brothers? When you come into this energy, I was just thinking about this, man. When you come into this energy, you literally become the boogeyman. You literally become the boogeyman. Think of what it's like to be a man. I don't care what race, what age, whatever, that roams around this world with no fear, that's loving everybody, that's loving mankind, but at the same time, you don't want to cross that line. At the same time, you know he has access to smacking you on a stage. Brother, you have no idea how feared you are. And I'm telling you, you're going to understand it, because once some of you brothers understand what I'm saying, and once you walk in this energy without you saying one word, I guarantee if you go to work tomorrow in this energy of, you know what, like I'm a whole man, like I'm feeling because the first thing it's going to do is going to knock down the walls of hate. That's the first thing it's going to do. You know, you might sit here and hate a man now because of his color. You might hate a man now because he's making minimum wage. You might hate him now because whatever else, brother, once you tap into this fullness, you cannot hate your brother. You cannot hate your brother, man. That's what I love about it, because it's nothing but love in its entirety. Even the dark is full of love, because most of what we don't like in other men is what we're calling the opposite of us. And if we're submerged in light, then we're just saying, you know what, the other side of the spectrum is bad. But once you get this fullness, you're like, brother, everybody is my brother. All the sisters are my sisters. Why? That's when I stopped bashing black women. I'm like, man, everybody is a reflection of me. When I said Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman are the exact same person, a lot of y'all don't understand that. Like, the part of being in this fullness is being in oneness. And if you don't understand oneness, brother, you've missed the bus. If you're still looking at light energy and thinking dark is bad, brother, you're a children of a lesser God, man. You're a children of half a God. You're worshiping the yin. And I'm telling you, the moment you change, brother, we're going to get off here, man. The moment you change, your life will change. When I say your life, everything about your life will change. Because people respond to you. The world will respond to you different, man. You know, so you know, and I've seen a few of the comments, brothers. Trust me, man, I get it. Let me pause and go back to square one and just break this down to what happened. A man went on stage at the Oscars and smacked another man on stage. Was that cool? No. Was that a lack of emotional intelligence, emotional energy? Yes. Was it reckless? Yes. Was it smart? No. Should he be embarrassed since the whole thing with Jada? Yes, he should be embarrassed. But I'm telling you what took place in that man's heart. I'm telling you what took place on the inside, man. And I'm telling you, the moment it happens to you, your world, brother. The stuff we sit here and complain about. Brother, let me go back to the super chat, brother. I didn't want to cut the brother off talking. Brother Ivy, man. Brother Ivy said America needed to see a man, needed to see a man be masculine and stand up for his woman. I agree with that, brother. Man, I appreciate that super chat, brother. Man, I appreciate all the support you give me too, brother Ivy. You support me on every platform. Always generous, brother. My heart says thank you. If you need anything, brother, you call me directly, man. Anything I can do to help you, brother. You support me so much love, man. What I was saying is like once you tap into this, brothers, everything is tied, and then no woman get on the stage. Maybe women don't agree. Let me put the chat back up there. Because when I posted it on Instagram, I believe, or where, maybe in the YouTube comment, I haven't looked at the YouTube comments. A lot of women were co-signing, and the thing is, I didn't want them co-signing for the right reason. I mean, for the wrong reason. Because a lot of women will say, "Yeah, he should have smacked it. He was talking bad about Jada." You know, I don't really care about women supporting it fully about that if they don't understand the energetic, events that took place. If they don't understand it, you know what? Like, yeah, you know what? Like, now that you think about it, now that you say it, so I am attracted to men that have this balance. Like Cletus and Creflo are broke. Cletus and Creflo don't do no nice stuff for me. They don't take me to Ralph and Cuckoo's. They don't bring me flowers. They don't have any money, but I can't stop going back to them. I don't know why. Women who understand that now, those are the women I'm talking about. Let me face it. If any sisters on her that want to come in and speak on this, whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, I'm telling you, man, a lot of women that are attracted to you physically, a lot of women that respect you for being men that have strong careers, and a lot of you men that are just moving a certain way, a lot of these women won't connect with you because you don't have this balance. Like when I say a man has to move reckless, I mean, think about what I'm saying. I'm not saying that a man needs to go over, just start smacking everybody and run around. I'm saying a man needs to have that. He needs to have access to that and can embrace it. And this is all around us, man. If you look at this, is all around us, brother. It's in our Bibles. It's in the show that the brother talked about earlier, Raku. I never heard of that, but what he broke down was perfect. Think about us as children, man. Think about us as children, and we're gonna wrap this up, man. If nobody else wants to come on. Think about the Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk was Exhibit A. The Incredible Hulk is Exhibit A. A man walks around every day. He's in corporate America. He's doing this. He's paying the bills. He's doing what he has to do. But cross that line. He's ripping shirts. He's flipping tables. He's throwing people off of planes. We saw it growing up, man. The game was given to us, brother. The game, like people have been trying to share this with us the whole time. Like, once you tap into this darkness, and brother, there are a million other scenarios. There are a million other scenarios that show this. What's going on?
When I posted it on
hey, cut the volume down in the background,
Instagram,
man.
I believe, or maybe no YouTube comment.
Yeah. What's going on, brother?
Hey, what's going on? So, hey, man, look, man, Will should have slapped him, bro.
Why do you say
Will should have slapped the hell out of
him? Why do you say Will should have slapped him, though?
Man, bro, because it's about men being men. Will should have slapped the hell out of him, man. He had been disrespecting Will from the jump. So it's about men being men, especially black men. We need to start stepping up and just saying what it is. He should have slapped him.
You know what? I'll say this: Will should have slapped him. At the same time, I'll say Will should. At the same time, I'll say Will was wrong because Will probably should have slapped somebody 10 years ago. We wouldn't have been right here.
Yeah,
Like he should have slapped somebody a long time ago.
Definitely.
Not necessarily Chris Phil. I mean, Chris. It just happened to be him because this is when Will tapped in. Like all this stuff, like you would have said, this stuff should have been avoided. This stuff should have never happened. This stuff was Will's fault. But this is Will's way of coming.
You right.
He should have smacked somebody.
You right.
Smacked somebody in 8th grade.
You right. Appreciate you, soul, man. Appreciate you, man.
Oh yeah, man. Appreciate coming on. Just like I was saying earlier about my son. I said, this is the first thing I taught my son. I said, my son was an elementary man. He's like, man, these boys are picking on me. And I was like, bro, stop the press. Like, we got to nip this in the bud right now. Like, son, you have to understand, if you don't fix this, if you don't understand what's taking place, this is going to be the remainder of your life. You ever see men in corporate America being at your job that are just that are on this low energy in this light energy and have no darkness? Brothers, you can sit there and tease them at the water cooler all day and all this stuff, talking that noise about them. Everybody picks on one or two guys because everybody can identify who has it on them or not. You know what I'm saying? This shouldn't have happened, but Will should have fixed this a long time ago. It shouldn't have happened. He should have corrected it a long time ago. What's going on, brother GP?
What's going on, bro? I go by Kofa.
Kofa?
Yeah.
Kofa.
Saying Kofa, but everybody call me Kofa. I got a podcast on here too, man. I agree with you, but I want to caution the regular brother. I know we're talking about Will and Chris. It's not about the celebrity, and it's deeper than somebody disrespecting my wife. So I want to caution brothers. I'm gonna nerd out real quick about stepping into that dark energy. Like you said, you had a situation where you could have pretty much lost your living life going to jail. I did the same thing. So I want to caution brothers again, don't go Anakin Skywalker. Because the light side of the Force lost that brother. He became Darth Vader. For those not nerds. Once he touched it, it was a wrap. And those that know the story, it was behind the woman as well. So I just want to caution brothers about that part. While I agree with you, mostly, that's that other part we forget about, because we're not talking about Bobby on the back of the trash truck.
Yeah.
Bobby on the back of the trash truck ain't going to have the same grace that Will or Chris got. And truthfully, I think Will was wrong. I lost a little bit of respect for him. I gained more for Chris because he wasn't going to fumble that bag. I mean, it's Hollywood. It is what it is. But I know we on the deeper level of the esoteric stuff. So brothers have to be careful of touching that dark side because you might like it a little bit more than you anticipated that you would.
True.
So I just wanted to throw that out there, brother.
Man, appreciate that, brother. And I'm glad you brought up Star Wars because I mean, of course, I watched Star Wars, growing up. That was part of all of our life. And I can remember hearing, I don't know who it was. Somebody was talking about they said Star Wars is the best movie to break down this whole light and dark energy.
Yeah.
Like when you talking about Luke is your father and all that stuff, like that was, and it's in the Bible. I don't want to go in on it now, man, because it's going to be in my works coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah.
But it's all there, man. But you're right. You dead right. A brother has to be aware that he can move like that and end up going full dark and end up spending a life in prison.
On the opposite end of the spectrum. So you walking in that light all the time, and then you walk in the darkness. Like I'm a big, again, nerd out real quick. I'm a big Wolverine, Deadpool fan. So you got those anti-heroes. I'm not a hero, but I'm not really a bad guy. I just handle stuff the way it needs to be handled at that given situation. So again, just cautioning brothers, you don't want to go too far into it where you can't come back.
I'm glad you said that, brother.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad you said that. Appreciate that, man.
Man, I appreciate you, man. I love your content, brother.
Love you too, man. Appreciate it, man. Hey, what should give us a shout out, man? You say you got a podcast, you got a YouTube.
Yeah, so it's Growth Talk Podcast. Growth is an acronym. Gentlemen reaching our wealth through healing.
Nice.
I'm right here on YouTube, man. I just started up probably back in February. That was my 40th birthday present to myself. Just getting started in the manosphere or whatever. I'm a little bit rough with it, but I plan on expanding to the finances and talk about just bettering brother, bro. I'm following your lead, man.
Man, appreciate it. Hey, man, I'm gonna tell you why, and I just met you, brother. I'm gonna tell you why I'm proud of hearing you say that, because to take that leap to go from whatever you're doing and say, you know what, let me open up this other side of myself and tap into expanding myself.
Yeah,
A lot
exactly.
of people don't understand that when you talk about success, and I use that word loosely because when I say success, it's not about what you got in the garage. It's not about the square footage in the clothes. It's about a man being able to wake up every day, do what he loves to do, and go to bed every night. Wash, rinse, and repeat. It's all about a man expanding himself.
Exactly.
And that's hard to do.
And I use that word all the time, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I've told people I've spent so much of my life, so I understand Will's perspective because I shrank myself so much for other people's comfort. And that's the other thing. That was my toxic trait that I had to realize. Being the nice guy can be toxic because you become a people pleaser. Then you harbor that anger, and that's what we saw last night.
Yep.
Chris Rock just got slapped for every meme that everybody else.
Exactly. It wasn't even no beef with Chris.
Yeah, it ain't. Yeah.
Chris represented every man.
He called all them hands for a lot of other folks last night. So I take my hat off to him too, because things really could have turned to the Source Award.
And I'm glad Chris moved like that, But I'm glad you said that, man. Like it's the exact same thing. Like you said, nice guy energy. Like that nice guy energy. That's the same thing. That's a man fully submerged in life and love and and the thing is, you in our minds, at least in my mind, growing up as a man, I thought that's what women would love. Like, man, a woman wants a guy that's all roses and cakes and kisses and candies and massages. When women say they're disgusted by men like that, when they say, "Oh, I need a man with a little bit of edge," what they're saying is, "I need some darkness. I need to know you." And the thing is, I'm gonna say this: most of the time, when a woman sees that a man has that dark side, now they can go back to that sweet side. That's when they want this man to be all sweet. They just have to know it's present.
It's there.
Yeah,
that's
lot of people don't. A lot of men don't understand.
Throw this out real quick. I know you got other folks, but brothers, be cautious of that because there's certain women that play with that voodoo doll, pull them strings, where they'll get you in a situation that you can't get out of. I told another brother earlier, it's sad, but women to kick off a situation, and you got one brother in the grave and one brother going to jail, and the system get two niggas for the price of one.
Facts.
So you got to be careful who you laying down with too.
Facts. Man, I appreciate you, brother, man. I'm going to check your channel out, man. I'm going to subscribe.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Say it one more time, because you said another word in between growth. You said growth something podcast.
Growth Talk Podcast. It's a little emblem of a guy walking. It's like a wine and gold logo.
Growth Talk Podcast, man. Let's hook up and do some work sometime, point, brother.
Bet, man.
Yeah.
Bet.
I mean, even if it's just get on here and just chop about some general nonsense, or I come to your channel, we just chop about something. They just do that, bro.
And cigars.
And cigars.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know cigars, I gotta put you on to my brother SD, man. He's a cigar connoisseur, man.
Bet, man. I'm right here in Atlanta, man. I know you out in Texas, but I know you swing through every now and then.
Yeah, I'm in there quite often, man. Yeah, we gotta connect, brother.
We will, definitely.
All right. Take care, brother. I appreciate you. Appreciate you adding that value, man.
Peace, y'all.
Man, and I'm gonna wrap it up. It's the exact same thing, though. I saw a comment I want to come back to. Brother AJ Taylor, big supporter, man. Brother, I appreciate the love you always give me, brother AJ. But they just said the best piece of life advice I've ever received: be nice, not kind. The best way to describe balance is that light and dark energy. Man, I had no idea. And when I'm talking about what sent me to my red pill stage beforehand was not understanding, like when women say nice guys. It's like I don't understand. Like, why didn't she want me to be, like that's all I know. To be sweet to a woman, to cater, roses, flowers, candies. Like she don't want that. And it's like, man, she craves that. But she only wants it from a man that knows the other side. You know what I'm saying, brother? Once you have that balance, you don't even have to tell a woman. Just by you walking in your being, she senses it. She senses it in your conversation. Your boss at work will sense it. The lady at the cash register at the grocery store will sense it. That cop that pulls you over will sense it. You think they can't sense fear in a man's heart? When a man has no fear in his heart, he becomes the boogeyman. He becomes the boogeyman. I can get up here in the middle of the night. Sometimes I get up 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, midnight, and I can walk around the block. Why not? That thing that people fear is me. You know what I'm saying? That thing that people fear is me. So why shouldn't I get out and enjoy life? I'm the one that's feared because I'm the one that has balance. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that, brother AJ. He says, my bad. Be kind, not nice. Yeah, I understood what you were saying, brother. Appreciate that super chat, man. But I saw something I want to bring up a second ago. I don't know who that was, man. It says, dang it, where is it at? It said, okay, hold on. I think it was right here. What the brother was saying was pretty much, he said that dark energy is feminine energy. And he said that feminine energy, like the men are expressing feminine traits when they tap into that dark energy. You have to understand. And I got to give a shout out to brother Phil Taylor on this. Phil Taylor is one of I'll definitely call one of the OGs of the power circle. And before we even got to this part in the Kabbalion during our studies, brother Phil broke this down to me so eloquently, man. He was like, when you talk about gender, when you talk about polar opposite, it has, in the spiritual realm of things, man, it has very little to do about male and female, and it has more to do with polar opposites. So you have to understand. You have to understand that getting lost in the sauce of naming polar opposites is where we start to lose. You know what I'm saying? But just understanding understanding that polar opposites are both a part of who I am. So to say that that's what the brother said. The brother said that the dark side of things is feminine energy and it's being emotional. You have to understand that it's all emotional. All things are created. Nothing in this planet can be created without that emotional energy. So it's all emotional. Both sides are emotional. That's what's creating everything. It's all emotional energy, brother. 100% of it. But understanding that those, let's say that it is feminine energy. Understanding that it's still part of the all that I'm a part of makes it part of me. I'm telling you, brothers, once you get to the point, and I'm finna get off here, man, because I'm kicking a dead horse at this point. I wish I could find it, but that's what the brother was saying pretty much, that it's feminine energy. It's all energy. You have to understand, man. And this is the point I really want to drive home before I get off. You have to understand it when you're saying it says soul is the boogeyman. I am that. I can walk in the middle of the night. I can walk down the alley because I understand that I am that thing that's feared. That thing that we feared as children was me. That thing that we feared was a man that understood his full balance. That thing we feared was a man that understood he was the Incredible Hulk. That's the boogeyman. That's the boogeyman to society. That's that part that society doesn't want you to tap into, brothers, because your world would change overnight, man. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah, this is all I want to say, and I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm going to get out of here, man. This is what you need to understand, man. And I'm going to give a shameless plug because what I talked about tonight, man, and I've just skimmed the surface. I mean, I can't possibly put this information on a live stream. This is one of several chambers that man has to unlock in his mind that will free him. You know what I'm saying? And in the book coming up, again, it'll be for pre-sale here in the next couple of weeks. This is only one of the chambers in a man's mind. And this right here, a lot of y'all brothers are just now understanding this and still don't understand it. But I'm telling you, man, when you think about the way this world is moving, when you think about your current situation, when you think about why you're miserable in every walk of life, women ain't shit. All women are this. My boss is this. I need to go to a new job. My money's funny. All these areas are tied to knowing self. All these areas are tied, brother. It's crazy. It's like once you get that key, all doors are unlocked. And you live for the first time. But the thing is, man, you have to understand this, brothers. If you don't hear nothing else I say, if you don't ever watch another video because I pissed you off tonight, remember this. If you're worshiping a being and that being has an opposite, then it can't be the all. It can't be the creator of all things. So that's what I'm saying when I say most people are children of a lesser God. They're stuck on one side of the spectrum. And it's like if you can keep a man stuck on the right side or the light side or the dark side, he's imprisoned. He's imprisoned and he doesn't even know it. I walked around, man, for over half of my life, for 30-some years, 40-some years in a prison, and I didn't even know it, man. I just started living in the last parts of my life. I just started living, man. You know what I'm saying? So understand that, brothers. Understand that, man. Just understand, man, that we need to go. It's time to go deeper, man. It's time to go deeper in our understandings. Us, the brothers in the power circle, shameless plug, man. Like this is what we're about. Yeah, we're about networking and helping brothers, man. But ultimately, we're trying to find deeper levels of understanding. We're trying to remove the veil off of our lives because we know they're there. They have to be present. This world wouldn't move like it was if something wasn't covering our eyes. You telling me, and I'm about to go, man, because I'm about to just start talking now. You telling me that we're made in the image and likeness of an all creator, which most people believe that, regardless of what religion you're in, most people can say, I'm made in the image of the all. I'm made in the image of God. Well, look at our lives. Look at the cell we live in. Look at the misery. You telling me we're gods? All we do is work, pay taxes, and die. We're gods? Come on now. It's time that we uncage ourselves, brothers. It's time we uncage ourselves, sisters. You know, no sisters got on to speak on that. So I'm assuming that I was dead wrong, or they all in agree. Brother Rediscover Your Science says, I came in here thinking I was right. I'm leaving with a whole new understanding. Thank you for this, brother. You know, I heard a man say this a while back, man, and he was talking about like a lot of people that just like speaking in a way, like it's easy. Matter of fact, I'll tell you who I heard say it best. Bobby Hemmett. Bobby Hemmett said, you know what, man, it makes no sense to wake up every day and whether go to a service or go to a lecture or go to this when people are saying everything that you like, everything that you agree with. There's no growth there. There's no growth there. If I'm sitting there saying something where everybody's saying, you know what, I agree with Soul every day. It's like, bro, don't come to my channel. Like go somewhere you don't agree with. That's how we expand. So like Bobby Hemmett said, man, like if somebody's sitting there just telling you roses and peaches and your crap don't stink every day, and you know, it's like, bro, like that's a dangerous spot to be in. You know, our job is to challenge each other, man. Our job is to challenge the spiritual status quo, man. And the thing is, once you find that balance, once you fully accept that dark energy, now you can step into it, because now you can question things that you've been taught to fear. Most people are scared to question the resurrection. Most people are scared to question tithes and offering. Most people are scared to question what prayer is. Most people are scared to question what heaven and hell is. We've been taught to fear it. It's like, no, that's a thing. Just leave it where it is. It's like, no, brother, knock on that door. Knock on that door, man. Like once we start knocking on those doors, walls will start come tumbling down, brother. And I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Hey, I appreciate everybody joining. I appreciate everybody commenting, man. I didn't get to read all the comments, but there were some good, people agreed, people didn't agree. I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate the likes. If y'all don't mind, man, if you can hit that like button on the way out, I would really appreciate it. It would do the algorithm good. And I'm saying that because that's what I've heard. I don't know what it does to the algorithm, but if this message can get out to more people, I want more people to wake up to this, man. And it's not about love, and it's not about hate, it's not about smacking people. It's about us stepping into our balance. Because once we find this balance, we become ungovernable. We become ungovernable, man. That's the goal. We become free. Do you know what it's like to wake up every day, man? Scratch my ass and do what the hell I want to do? Like life doesn't get any better than this. I don't need private jets. I don't need Maybachs. Those things are good. When I get to that level of getting those things, they're good. But brother, like as far as my happiness, I can go no higher than this. Like I'm at the max, which really is no ceiling. Like I can, there's nothing I could obtain. There's no dollar amount I could get that could bring more joy in my life. And I'm telling you, brother, that's the best feeling on earth. And I'm telling you, I couldn't have found that unless I tapped into what I'm telling you, man. You know what I'm saying? I wish I had another way to say it, man. without it sounding. So once you tap into this, man, now you'll start living, man. And I'm gonna wrap it up with that, brothers. Emmanuel says balance is so important. The vibe says talk yo shit not. But yeah, appreciate y'all for joining, man. Shoot, maybe we'll bring God Talk back every once in a while. Maybe we'll just leave it in the circle. Go to look at the links on my pages. Check out the recipe. Check out the path. Check out Beautiful Faces of Evil. Because a lot of what I'm talking about is tied to directly what I'm talking about now. It's tied to this. When you watch the path, for y'all that have watched the path, right? I'm talking about a man's transition. I'm breaking it down. I'm breaking it down to nuts and bolts. What I'm talking about right now. If you watch the path, it talks about a man being in a fried zone of living and coming into his awareness of who he is and how he moves, what he has to do, and what's going to take place. And the thing is, that situation is the same for every single person. It's the same. It's. I'm gonna tell you, brothers. I'm trying to give y'all the game, man. You know. But since I don't come from an angle of saying that a person was, I don't know. Hey, I thank y'all for chiming in, man. Thank y'all the brothers that came on the channel and gave your viewpoint. Hopefully we can do this again. It's your boy Soul Immortal, and I'm out.